Hi, I'm Dave Wurzel and you're watching PHTV4 Spotlight. Today's Spotlight is on bike maintenance. We are deep into summer and hopefully you're out there hitting the bike paths and the trails and getting some good riding in. We've had a lot of good weather for this. And of course, if you're riding it and you're putting in some miles, your bike needs to be maintained. And we're at Richard's Bicycles in Palos Heights on Harlem Avenue, and we're with Chris, who works here. And Chris, I'm going to ask you to introduce yourself and what you do at the bike shop. And then we're going to take a look at bike maintenance type things that you can do on your own at home, or where you start to cross the line and now it's time to bring it in and have somebody take a look at it. So Chris, how about you first here, you at Richard's, what do you do?
Sure, so I'm one of the mechanics, and when a bike comes in and needs a tune-up, I adjust the front and rear gears, front and rear brakes, and then you have your bearings in your front and rear hub and your bottom bracket. And I need to make sure that those are tight, greased, or if they're shot and they need to be replaced, I need to make sure that we get the proper part installed.
So you're doing everything. It sounds like some of the things you described, you can do anything from a tune-up to some of the repair work that's going to happen too, right?
Yeah, I would say I can do virtually everything on a bike.
And in private, and we'll talk about this a little bit, you also do on your own, your private hobby, you do some bike restoration stuff too, right?
Yes, I do. I do enjoy doing that, and a lot of that stuff I put on my YouTube channel at Good Time Bikes.
All right, Good Time Bikes, check it out. We'll get back to that in a second. So let's talk about first, I've been riding my bike, I put in miles, maybe I start to notice the chain is sounding a little squeaky, or the ride feels a little mushy. Some things are kind of obvious that, yeah, definitely you guys can take care of this, or I can take care of this myself. I don't need to come to the bike shop. What are those things and how do I do it?
So always, always, always pay attention to what your bike is doing. If you hear a noise, if you hear a clunking, if you hear squeaking, and especially with that squeaking, you got to do something about it, because otherwise your chain's going to wear out prematurely. So when your chain's squeaking, it's bone dry, it needs to be oiled. Okay.
So that's something we do here. I know you got some products, and I actually use one of these, and I know what this is. I don't use it. How does the regular person take care of their bike chain? Like, they hear the noise, they're thinking, and maybe they want to bring it in and let you guys deal with it, and you can do it professionally the way you guys do. But some of this, yeah, they could do at home. How would they do that? What does that look like?
So first things first, always clean your chain. And this is a great product here. This is actually a tool that clamps around the chain. You can use a solution, a degreaser. Inside this tool, run the chain through that, and it has all the bristle brushes inside there to get the job done. But then once you're done cleaning it and it's dried off, you're going to want to use some sort of oil. And this is bicycle specific, specifically for the chain on a bicycle. And this one is good for something that's year-round. And we have ones that are great for drier conditions. And this is something that dries as a wax, so you always want to make sure that you shake it up properly. And finally, this one's great for wet conditions or some of our riders that are out there in the winter.
Can you walk through the process, whether using this, and I don't use this, I use like a rag and some WD-40, which I'm hoping works kind of the same way. They clamp this on their chain. Can you kind of walk us through the process, like they put that on the chain and then, what they do next?
Yeah, so this product is just clamped on the chain. There is a solution that goes inside here, and you run the chain through this tool. Now, you want to do that and then dry it off, of course, or even if you don't have the tool at home, you can use some sort of degreaser. Even WD-40 works well for that, but always make sure that you use a dry rag and dry the chain off. And bonus, if you have a compressor at home, you can use a compressor and an air gun and blow it off. So you really get in all the nooks and crannies on the chain.
I was going to say, and you're reminding me, in my case, I was just out, I did a 55-mile ride on a gravel crushed stone surface, and yeah, I could feel the grit on my legs. If I feel grit on me, it's got to be on the chain. So we got to get it clean before then we apply one of the lubricants, right? How do we put on the lubricant? I'm assuming we're not just running down. I mean, what does it look like putting the lubricant on?
So if you're at home, not everybody has a repair stand to put their bike in, so you can just lean it up against the wall, make sure your kickstand is up and out of the way, and I always suggest pedaling the bike backwards and just keeping the nozzle of the oil near the gears at the back portion of the bike, and run your chain through that once or twice, and that'll suffice.
Okay. All right, so that's something you can do, and I've done it, and it works, and it does make a difference, and that way you can catch it. It's not wait. I know you have a couple of the cleaning products here. Why the cleaning products, or how do I use those?
So especially in the springtime and the summertime, when we get all the berries that are falling off the tree and on the bike trail, and that always collects on the down tube underneath the bike, and it's very hard to get off. So this is a special solution that'll help remove that, and this is great all over the bike. You can soak the bike down in this and wipe it down. From there, once the bike is dry, we can use another product. It's polish, and it'll shine the frame up to bring that luster back.
Okay, so you can keep the bike, not only, and we can do some basic maintenance here with the chain, clean it up, so it looks good, it lasts longer in that look and that style. One other thing I know we can do ourselves, and that's, the tire pressure. And, how big a deal is it? Like it says, well, here's your range. How often should I be checking, and how exact do I have to be on that, And I know we have an air pump back here. Maybe we can talk about how that guy works also.
Absolutely. So on the sidewall of every bicycle tire, it always gives you a range. A lot of times it'll say something like 50 to 85, or for road bikers with real skinny tires, it could be as high as 115 psi, but you definitely want to keep it a little bit more on the higher end of that range, especially if you're on pavement. You don't want to endanger yourself of getting a flat tire, because if ever you hit a pothole, or even if you're off-road and you hit a root or rock, and that rim pinches down on the inner tube, you're going to end up with a flat. So proper tire inflation is very important. And actually, this is something that we have here, and it has a gauge on it. You can also do beach balls and basketballs with this as well, so it's multi-purpose. But something like this to keep at home is very, very useful.
Okay. And I was going to say, it's funny, in my case, I'm thinking about, like the bike ride felt a little clunky, or the chain was skipping, and clean the chain, tire pressure, and everything improves. I mean, the quality of ride improves, the bike function better, right? Now, these are things we can do at home. Do you want to talk about, so when do we cross the line, like, all right, maybe I have a problem, I did what I can do, why do we need to bring it into the bike shop then?
So everybody at home can always do oil on the chain and air in the tires. That's something that everyone can do safely and properly. And after that, once you're getting into gear adjustments, that's really turns into an art, and that's something that not everybody's going to learn overnight. And brake adjustments, for safety purposes, I always suggest having your brakes adjusted properly, so stop on by the shop.
All right, so if any part of that doesn't feel right, and I'm going to tell you from experience, I did try and adjust the gear shift, the derailleurs. It felt like it wasn't shifting right. Yeah, I mean, maybe if I had more experience, or I had learned how to do it better, me watching a video did not do it. And I brought it in here, and you guys took care of it in a few minutes, and everything was fine. So good. There are things we can do at home, tires, chain, and those are critical part of the maintenance of the bike. But then those other things, if you're feeling your brakes, or you feel it in your shifting and it's not right, then we're bringing it into you guys, right? One last repair I'm going to mention, I never would have thought about, I'm going to encourage people to do it, and I want you to talk about how you do it as well, is I had a little bit of a wobble in my tire. I didn't notice it right away. I brought it in. We discovered I had a bunch of broken spokes. They were in position, just not locked in position. Can you explain what happens there, why you have to get those spokes replaced?
So if you're off the bike, just pick up the front end or back end of your bike, spin your wheel, and if you see that your tire or wheel are wobbling, it's either the tire or it's the wheel. Sometimes the tire needs to be seated properly into the rim, or other times that means that the metal part, the actual rim or wheel, is bent. So you may have broken spokes or loose spokes, and it's called truing the wheel. So we need to make that straight. And that's something we do here at the shop. And it's not something that everybody can do. Again, that's something that takes a long time to learn to do properly.
So another thing that maybe, just a quick look at your bike and do the test, spin the wheel. I noticed my wheel had the wobble, but so a lot of little things like that for a safer ride, longevity of the bike, the wear of the bike, everything works better. Okay, Chris, thank you very much. A lot of good bike maintenance tips there. And I want to mention, we talked about it earlier, if you want to do a deeper dive into bike maintenance, Chris has created a variety of videos. Some are entertaining for the ride he's creating, but some he'll give you some tips on how to maintain. You want to talk about your site?
Yeah, so I'm on YouTube. I have my own YouTube channel called Good Time Bikes, and that is something that I've covered some how-to videos like maintenance and things like that, some of the basics, and I have some videos that go a little bit more into entertainment.
Okay, so you get a good variety there, and I definitely encourage you to check him out. You can see him try and get his, what year is it, the Stingray. What year is it, bike?
It's a 1966 Schwinn Stingray Deluxe, and that's the one with the ape hangers, so the real tall handlebars and the banana seat.
Okay. You can watch him try and set some speed record on it, for a personal speed record on there. But yeah, a lot of great videos, very helpful, and he can dive deeper into some of the things we talked about. Chris, thank you very much. Appreciate the bike maintenance tips, and you know, let's get out there and have a safe ride and keep those bikes maintained. Thank you for watching.